telling us yesterday. She was pointing.
Oh, hell no.
No comment.
Yeah, but he's got all this data.
We're gonna talk about CO today, not CO2, but CO, carbon monoxide, right?
Oh,
What's the difference between the two?
One
molecule.
oxygen.
One molecule. Do they interact together?
no,
Does one make the other?
no.
We're gonna learn some stuff.
But if your body wants to get oxygen and carbon monoxide is in your body, carbon monoxide gets 200 of the stuff and you get one, which is why
The
you're done.
hemoglobin, right,
You're done.
right. We're gonna talk about that too.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in front of you, you have some interesting facts about carbon monoxide that you may not have known. You also have a comparison between CO2 and CO. And there's a humorous thing on the back of that one that I tried my best at. CO's poison, right?
Yeah.
At what concentration?
50 parts per million.
Depends on how much you're subjected to it.
Right. So you can work all day long in 50.
Oh,
And the MEL, which is on these other charts, tells you all that. Okay? Well, you might get a headache and stuff above that, sure. That's,
it's poison.
why aren't you working now?
50 will fuck you up.
It's a good way to kill yourself. Just take a Kirby vacuum cleaner hose, take it out of the exhaust pipe, stick it in the back window of your car, go in the garage door, shut the garage door and run your engine.
You see where the,
Guy who used to drive me to work, his son did that. 3 hours later,
I
gone.
had this working this morning,
Do you have a USB that plugs into this?
it's right there.
Suicide.
I just tested it when I started it. I was just looking at the notes. Let me click on that and see what happens. There we go.
Yeah, boy.
So, here's our goals tonight. We're gonna take turns reading these too. We'll start with you, Gary. Number 1.
Improved health.
Bill?
Doing the right things right. Reduce callbacks.
Better technicians. How good do you want to be?
How good do you wanna be?
The best.
Okay. Skip?
Improved installations.
Kevin?
Improved service.
Safer combustion systems.
Testing, not guessing.
One more time, loud.
Testing, not guessing.
Not guessing. Bill?
Referrals.
Reduce warranty costs.
Okay. What's the first thing? Health, safety, right? Carbon monoxide identified by the symbol CO, not CO2. Everybody tries to interchange that, and it's very confusing. Tasteless, odorless, invisible poison, measured in parts per million. Number of CO, ppm present in a million molecules of air, okay? So, 125,000 parts per million is 12.5% by volume.
How many parts per million?
If we look at our parts per million, percentage-wise, 12.5% is 125,000 parts per million in the air,
Oh, God.
okay? I looked at volcanoes and stuff like that. Didn't see anywhere close to that. Everybody knows that when we inhale it, it attaches to our blood, the hemoglobin, and it prevents us from moving oxygen through our body, right? Okay,
That's a bad day.
so your personal exposure level charts in front of you. CO produced in concentrations will affect health or hurt someone at an open path for CO to reach people. Those are the things that we have to look at and think about. I think it means it's poison, right? Clear and present danger. We getting the message yet? The skull and crossbone?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
That would have gone on for another 10 minutes. All right, remember we were talking a little bit ago about how much the weight of CO, is it heavier than air or lighter than air? The weight of CO changes with temperature, heavier at freezing temperatures and lighter temperatures normally found indoors. Temperatures normally found indoors. Is it really lighter, or does the warm air from our furnaces just rise to the top of the ceiling and displace the cooler air? Something to think about. So, we have, at our company, CO monitors we wear on ourselves when we're on a job. Hopefully you guys got them on now. Okay, what's your memory? When you push your M button, what's your memory? You didn't have it on,
But they always stay on.
huh?
Hold it.
Oh, yeah, push the M button. Okay. I popped a 25 today someplace, I have no idea where. So,
106.
106 parts per million?
Yeah, I was standing behind Kevin's van.
Or a box truck out there, it'll only get you over 100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, easy. But look at all the things that can create carbon monoxide that we're exposed to, we don't even think about. Steve Armstrong and I were talking a few weeks ago about these personal detectors, and he had some that he was selling, and he gave one to a friend who's a pilot. The pilot's flying, and he realizes it's over 100 parts per million in the cockpit.
huh.
I was wondering why he was getting headaches.
Duh.
I'll do it.
All right, buildings. What do we have in all of these buildings? Some form of heat, right? The ice shanty. You imagine sitting out in the ice shanty with a kerosene heater going,
Ah,
or a solo stove? Who's vulnerable?
Everybody.
Each of us in our own ways, right? Vince, you wanna read that?
British medical study proven misdiagnosis: if you don't test, you don't know. Survey of 77 individuals poisoned by CO over several years. Wide range of symptoms, some persisted for years, some continue. GPs failed in 76 of 77 to diagnose on symptoms. Often no diagnosis given. A majority of cases, presence of CO discovered by appliance technicians. In some cases, a sounding alarm gave a warning, and others, one family member collapsed giving attention to the problem. In many cases, regular servicing of appliances had occurred, but failed to identify problem, 50% of cases. 70% of cases took place in people's homes. 2/3 of sufferers were women, most aged between 35 to 45 years old. Very few sufferers offered COHB tests. Where these tests were given, there were also evidence of misinterpretation.
So the CO hemoglobin blood is what that cohort is.
Hemoglobin blood.
So, everybody knows what a GP is, right?
General practitioner.
Right.
Sounds like we got some malpractice going on.
Nobody thinks
He
about it.
makes them pay.
Nobody thinks about it. What? The doctors.
Oh,
You go in with flu symptoms, oh, you just got the flu. You
Yeah.
don't test your blood,
Mhm.
you know? I got hit by something in the Indian Ocean in 1977, and I was out for a count with 103-degree fever. Couple of days, and when I got out, every once in a while I get the shakes and I get a high fever spike, driving down the road, whatever. Well, research showed that it was a type of malaria,
oh,
but it only would prove it when you were having the rigors. And I went to a doctor, and God, the last time I had it, I told him, he said, you just got a cold, go away. Wish you'd have tested my blood. But what happens if people come to you as a doctor, medical professional, and say, man, I got these symptoms, and they don't test, they go back to the same environment that was creating that. Okay? We'll get into this later. If you get out of the environment, it takes, a half-life is up to 24 hours before it can be half of what it was in your blood. If you're on oxygen, breathing the bottle, it's up to 90 minutes. Scary stuff. 60%, we're still on the GPs. No diagnosis for symptoms. Unconscious group, look at that span, 27 to 81 years old. 75%, no diagnosis for symptoms during exposure. 2 days after this goes away, are they gonna be able to say you had CO poisoning? Because it's gone from your blood, right? Depression, flu virus is the biggest symptom. I love this. They probably gave him some kind of psychotic drugs,
oh,
you know?
oh my God, really?
Out of 200 GPs, not one doctor raised that thought. What do we see here?
Problems.
So, I'm not gonna pop the slide out, but when it was presented, it says, anyone not notices hazard or problem, some people are aware of that as a serious hazard. The guy actually said, there's only a couple of inches in the bottom of the can. It's not gonna create any problems, besides I got a smoke alarm. Gasoline next to a fire, or a fire source.
Gasoline vapors is what makes the
I
fire.
understand that, yeah. So this, they're talking about what we've done to our environment over the last couple of 100 years. I'm all into good stewardship. This is talking about sewage getting dumped into Lake Erie. I'm not sure why they picked on us. This guy was out of Minnesota that wrote this. What happens when we dump sewage into a lake or a river? It disperses, right? Eventually it sterilizes. So, when we inhale CO, it bonds with the hemoglobin in our blood, and it displaces the oxygen forming whatever, right? So we can't move the oxygen, blood can't absorb the oxygen to move it. Health effects, you wanna read that, Gary, can you see it?
I can't see it, no.
Good excuse. Phil?
Health effects of carbon monoxide poisoning, commonly misdiagnosed as flu-like syndrome. Lower chronic exposures to CO may not be diagnosed, but head stuffiness, sinus pressure, and headache may be symptoms of CO sickness. Symptoms may vary due to overall health, age, sex, or weight of person exposed and how much CO they were exposed to.
Scary stuff, isn't it? Vince, you're up.
CO effects on people and animals. Dizziness, headache, confusion, head stuffiness, elevated blood carboxyhemoglobin level, fatigue, eye and upper respiratory irritation, persistent cough, wheezing or rhinopharyngea constriction, increased frequencies of angina in persons with coronary heart disease, endothelium damage, inner lining of blood vessels. Standard therapy requires supplemental oxygen, ventilatory support, and monitoring heart rate. High exposures require hyperbolic chambers to force CO out of blood, replacing it with oxygen.
Not a fun thing, right?
Mm-mm.
So on that,
These are the meters that they had not too long ago that you blow into and you can sample for CO poisoning. So if somebody has an accident someplace or they're in a house, they've been removed from a building, they can, the EMTs can test with this. I'm sure there's better things on the market now too. You see how it reads? They have something called a pulse co-oximeter. So you were talking about exposure before, 50 parts per million, right? What's your chart say for 50
oh,
parts per million?
it's fine, you all day with that.
8 hours, right?
Yeah, but it's not gonna be comfortable.
You may not even realize it, but when you're absorbing that constantly, right?
Yeah,
We get over 200 parts per million, you got a headache, you get tiredness, dizziness, whatever, in 2-3 hours. Some people will be more affected by it, smokers, people with allergies and asthma. Frontal headaches within an hour and a half, or an hour to 2 hours, at 400 parts per million, life-threatening after 3 hours. So you get up in the 800 parts per million or 1600 parts per million, you're looking at that. We had a job that Bill Kochad worked on with me. I walked into space, the CO detector's over 400 parts per million. Shut the boiler off, exited the space and ventilated it. Basically, it was a really, really cold day. We had a super high chimney. We'll get into this in a minute too. And when you light the boiler off, the natural draft was pulling the flames off the burner, melting it out of the barometric dampers. So, what do we need for combustion?
Heat, fuel, and air.
The triangle. Take one of those away, what happens?
Don't have it?
We don't have it, we got nothing.
Are there exceptions to that?
Well, heat and fuel would smolder, correct?
Sorry?
Just heat and fuel would smolder, correct?
Well, again, there might be exceptions to this, that's why I'm asking.
Yes.
Magnesium will burn underwater, so will lithium batteries, because they make their own oxygen when they're burning. Okay. So, have we really eliminated the oxygen from that? Things to think about. Combustion needs air, fuel, and ignition, right? Nitrogen, 79% of the air we breathe at atmospheric pressure. Oxygen's almost 21%. What's left? What percentage of the air is left? If you do the math on that.
1%.
1.1,
Okay, what's that, 1.1?
or, sorry, 0.1.
0.1? Point one is a variety of different gases. Yeah, it's on your charts too.
Neon, krypton, xenon,
Argon,
argon.
yeah, I was surprised at how high argon was. I think that chart's got 10, 10 different amounts of gas, 10 different gases on it. So, controlling combustion, furnace require control fuel to be mixed with specific amounts of air. Too much air, too little fuel with available combustion air may result in carbon monoxide generation and incomplete combustion. How can we tell that by looking at something?
Color of the flame,
Combustion analyzer.
That's the only way.
Huh?
You might tell you have a bad burn going, it could be a cold boiler, it could be a cold furnace, right?
yeah.
Control combustion, that's why we have the analyzers that we use on each call. What do you see in these pictures? You see a burner on a gas stove, right? What do you see on this one?
Red,
Oh, look at the entire picture.
condensation on the bottom of the pan.
Yeah, why is it condensing?
Well, when you, part of the combustion process makes steam. And the steam condenses.
This is really cold water probably, right?
Yeah,
So, right now, you're trying to heat that water and you're getting moisture in the combustion gases,
yeah.
right? And the moisture is condensing on the side of that. How bad do you think that burner combustion is? You got a crap load of CO in there, I bet you. Things people don't think about. All the CO alarms that I ever had problems with in houses when I was doing it, I can't think of maybe one, besides one, that wasn't a gas stove. Just- So this is a demonstration of removing oxygen. See the triangle down on the right? Got a good flame there. Now we're putting a jar over that. What's gonna happen to that flame?
Suffocate.
Suffocate. Did you say that, Gary?
Yeah.
It's a good word for it. You're starving it from oxygen, right? Oh, we got a whole mess of stuff going on here.
Yes, we do.
How many sources of combustion do you see on that top picture? Look here. How many in that one?
At least 2 in the garage.
Yeah.
One.
It
Third,
could be a heater or a wood burner, right?
You see the blue.
3,
Yeah.
4, 5,
All right. Where's our kitchen at?
right above it. There's your stove is 6,
There's a fireplace here.
7,
We got a gas grill out here, a lawnmower. I'm not sure what that is.
generator.
Generator, okay. So, no basement, what happens? You got it all crammed into that same thing. What
Oh,
happens when we tighten a house up so much that,
you know, one thing you didn't check the bottom right is the dryer. If it's a gas
It
dryer.
doesn't go up the chimney.
yeah, I don't see anything through there.
It's a furnace in the attic too.
Yeah. Up here?
Oh, there is one.
Yeah,
If you have exhaust fans, it comes back down the chimney.
right. So, if I said Deadman, who here would know what I'm talking about? The Deadmen knew this when they put steam systems in. Sick building syndrome, right? They would make allowances when they sized the old steam systems in the late 1800s so that you could sleep with the windows open all the time, no matter how cold it was outside. And there's a lot more on those tales that save for another time. But in the energy crisis in the early 70s, there was a lot of mandates that said, okay, we're gonna put energy saving thermostats in and we're gonna foam pack everything. And it made it like a 2-liter bottle on some of these houses, right? right? You've probably seen a bunch of them too. Strongsville had the worst of them.
Yeah,
All the electric heat pumps in there, but you couldn't breathe in the house. So then they had to put ERVs in. You know, something that would bring air in to ventilate the house. So picture a 2-liter bottle and you have combustion in that 2-liter bottle. It's not gonna be good combustion if it's atmospheric, because you don't have any air coming into that 2-liter bottle, right? Yep. Questions, thoughts? Okay. Think about this, what's the best CO alarm we can get right now? I don't necessarily mean brand.
Your parakeet.
That's in one of the write-ups
Canary.
too.
Canary.
Canary in a coal
Canary, that's
mine,
right.
that's it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So, think about it as we go on, and we're gonna talk about it. What's the best kind of CO detector we can buy? So we got acid rain, they're saying it's from combustion, well, volcanoes launch a lot more into the earth than our furnaces do. So why do we zero out our CO detectors and our carbon, or our combustion analyzers outside the building?
Zero it out.
Sorry?
You zero it out.
Why?
If you do it inside, and you got something going on in there, it's gonna read zero when there's something that.
Right. So, again, that's another good use for this tool. Alright? This is not like the wall mount CO detectors. This notifies you when you're above 50, but you can look down if you're in a space, it will tell you you have CO.
Huh.
It doesn't time out. There's no time level on it. Okay. Major sources of combustion are carbon monoxide. Auto exhaust, they say 60% of it. Now we got a little better picture. We got a car here. Looks like a furnace down here and a water heater. Fireplace. So how about the ventless heaters?
No such thing.
There is.
I know there is, but
Yeah.
they're not that much.
They're venting somewhere.
They're into the room.
People do that for energy savings, right?
Yeah, sure.
I'm serious,
Yeah.
okay? You got an open house, so you're bleeding a lot of air, great. I found out recently that the tube heaters that have been put in with no venting on them are allowed if you have, what is it, 5 cubic feet per 100,000? Something like that, by code. Don't hold me to those numbers. So, if we measure CO in our ductwork, in our supply air or return air, where could it be coming from?
Cracked heat exchanger.
Garage.
Garage, cracked heat exchanger, fireplace, it could be in the space, right? Very rarely does a cracked heat exchanger spill CO into the ductwork.
Right.
Two leading causes of CO found in homes and buildings: unvented combustion systems. We talked about the stove and the oven before, right?
And the ventless heaters.
And the ventless heaters, the gas logs in the fireplace, right?
And if your furnace is broke, they turn on all the gas burners to heat the house.
Right. So, these are ambient air measurements only here around whatever that fire pit is. Okay? So, each device is programmed to not alarm until it's past a time limit at a certain threshold of CO. Okay? It doesn't automatically climb an alarm. it waits for 3 hours or 2 hours, depending on the threshold. Alright, CO levels of comfort per parts per million. Normal outside, CO2 levels. I did it when I was reviewing this too, and I said, that's wrong. See, that's why I put the CO2 comparison on that piece of paper. Okay. So CO2, how much CO2 is in our atmosphere by percentage?
1 or 2?
Sorry?
1 or 2, I don't know.
0.04%.
0.
0.04%. That's what would give us 400 parts per million too. If you have 0.04% times 10,000, it gives us 400 parts per million. Acceptable levels, you know, is CO2 bad for us? Let me rephrase that, would we be alive without CO2? The trees and the animals absorb that CO2, right?
Not the animals,
I'm sorry,
not the animals.
oceans, I meant oceans. You're right.
Oceans, yeah.
They make oxygen. So there's a huge difference between CO2 and CO. Look at the parts per million that we have around us. Normal outside levels are 400 parts per million, 0.04%. What should a CO be around us? Carbon monoxide, 0, right? So, nothing new about building pressures and draft living in a chimney. Did anybody here play with the TP tents as kids? Did you, Phil?
No.
We used to make them. You know, play cowboys and Indians and stuff like that. Rangers. See how they did it though? They had an inner lining in the real teepees. So they have ventilation going up there. They could have a fire in the middle of that thing, like in an igloo. Huh. You see the opening there? Right there? So the outside air is coming in underneath the outside layer. The inside layer is blocked off where that rock is. And it would direct it up towards the top of the teepee. So this is showing us that we have a negative space, right? What happens when we have a negative space and we have atmospheric burner going in that space?
Comes back down the chimney.
They'll come in from every crack in the building, right?
Yeah.
So the house that I live in was built, the front part was built in 1948, and it has 2 wood burners in it. Steel box chimneys, or steel box fireboxes. First year we lived there, we put fire in the fireplace, and I couldn't figure out where the smoke was coming from. It had windows open, and it still smelled like smoke in the house. And it was always humid. It's a ranch. Bathrooms here, ranch goes this way. It's always humid in the hallway by the bathroom, and in the winter time it was cold. I think it took me about a year, sitting on the pot one day. My wife
He was
flushed
just thinking then, right?
My wife flushed the toilet in the back of the house, and I heard air gush from underneath the toilet. And it dawned on me, the smoke, that's so negative, the smoke, and whatever else is coming down the soil stack and under the toilet and back into the house.
Oh my God.
So, you never know what you're gonna find.
Wow.
What's a category 1 appliance?
Something
Natural draft?
140 degrees.
Natural draft, atmospheric burner, right? How much effect does our stack height have on our draft?
A lot.
And size, the size of the opening in that stack. The higher it is, the colder it is outside, the more natural draft you're gonna get from the inside. Cracks in heat exchangers, we talked about this a second ago. You see the top part of that? Skip, can you read that?
Maybe the least probable cause of CO in buildings, but most investigated.
Why? Why do you think that is?
You scare them into buying a new one.
Scare them.
Yeah,
That's probably right.
I'm right.
Yeah.
Sadly true.
How much CO does a burner produce? How do we know that? You better not miss this one.
Yeah.
You have a tool.
Yes,
What's that tool called?
combustion analyzer.
Do we know how much the CO we have without a combustion analyzer?
No, we don't.
Does the unit need to be shut off if CO is not being produced?
It's good.
Cracks are important and of a concern, yes. Why might the heat exchanger crack? Anybody?
Expansion and contraction.
What'd you say?
Too
Jack?
hot.
Too hot.
Gas
overfire,
pressure.
Right? What'd you say?
Gas pressure,
Overfire,
airflow.
Right. So, do you think if we got 0 CO in our stack, that we're gonna have CO in our supply duct? How would you know that if you don't test it? If you got flame impingement on a crack, it's possible that you have it at that crack, but, right? Always test your supply air and return air, because if you got nothing in the supply air and you got CO in the return air, where's it coming from? It's not coming from furnace. The CO alarms are a warning device, and what type should be used? So, there's a boatload of CO alarms out there. I would highly recommend, if you're gonna buy one, that you buy one that plugs into the wall and it's got a battery backup on it. What is our most chances of having CO in the building? When we're using space heaters during a power outage, maybe, right? Or got the burners going on the stove, like you said, Gary? These alarm features, I think, are still accurate. This is a couple-year-old. So 0 to 30 parts per million, no warnings. You're not gonna see an alarm. If you have a display on it, it should indicate what the CO in the space is, right? 30 to 70 parts per million. Visual warnings only permitted if alarm has a display. Many alarms do not display until full audible alarm. 70 parts per million alarm should sound after exposure to 70 parts per million or more between 60 and 240 minutes. That goes to our MEL, maximum exposure levels, right?
Big difference there.
Sorry?
Big difference
Yeah.
with 60 and 240.
Yeah. Well, what's your sheet say?
I don't know, I can see it.
It's on one of these two. I don't remember now. So above that, you got 150 parts per million. It should sound after between 10 and 50 minutes, 50 minutes, right? Okay. 400 parts per million. The alarm should sound after exposure to 400 parts per million between 4 and 15 minutes, and have a manual reset.
Manual reset.
Yeah, that will re-energize the alarm signal within 6 minutes if the CO concentration remains at 70 parts per million or greater. See?
Oh,
Okay? We have 400 parts per million showing on our screen. Should we be in that space?
No.
We shut off our combustion, we vacate and ventilate, right?
Don't worry about shutting nothing off, just get out of there.
See, I like the Nighthawks that plug into the wall and have the display and have a battery backup.
I have.
Yeah. But each one of them's gonna have a little different characteristics. So it's 100 parts per million, and calibration gas, you see it's in a baggie? And it's starting to clock now. We're at 9 parts per million, and about 20 seconds in. Alarm sounds at 25 seconds on this particular one, at 23 parts per million.
Why?
And we keep going to 47 parts per million at 35 seconds. And
Why is it so sensitive?
it's just the nature of that particular alarm. Okay. This is, notice how they changed the alarms from the CO expert alarm. 35 seconds, that's 100 parts per million test bottle that we got on it. So it's showing 47 parts per million, 35 seconds into it. This is the Nighthawk that shows 0 at 0 seconds into it. 1 hour is not showing anything, right? 2 hours, nothing. 3 hours, nothing.
Wow.
4 hours, nothing.
It's broken.
4 hours, 27 minutes, it alarms. Now, what's our MEL at 100 parts per million?
Not good.
2 or 3 hours,
Yeah.
Slight headache.
start hitting.
So, hit the recall button, 2 parts per million. This is on that Nighthawk. So, he didn't like the Nighthawk when he was doing this test. The CO Experts monitor, which was the first one, this is who wrote this PowerPoint. Okay. Tells you how it functions. Now, I don't know, how many of you guys got, like meat burning in the house sometimes? Cooking on the stove. I test my smoke detector at least once a week that way. You know? I don't do it intentionally, but it happens.
You a new cook?
Yeah. I got a smoke detector that once you hit the button, it knows you're cooking and leaves you be. So, the CO Experts is pushing their monitor on this. Responding to a carbon monoxide alarm. What's the most dangerous thing for us as technicians to walk into a building that we know had a CO alarm?
Walking into a building that we know has a CO alarm.
And not protecting ourselves, right? Not sampling the air. If you got somebody laying down in there, by the time you get to them and try to get them up, you're gonna be laying down too. So when we get a call, and if we take the call personally, we're gonna ask these questions. Why are we asking these questions?
Well, you get a better idea of where you're at.
You told me you couldn't see that.
I can see that.
Yeah, you got an idea of how bad the situation is, right?
Yeah.
And this goes for family too. I mean, gosh, we all have families that have this stuff happen. All right, calibrated instruments. are built, things react very quickly.
What
Our,
does cost?
our combustion analyzer, what?
What do those cost?
$1.25, something like that.
Okay.
It's good for 2 years. These have replaceable batteries in them, the first ones we bought didn't. Our combustion analyzers have them. So I think that's another good way to walk into the space with the combustion analyzer zeroed out, and you can see if there's anything in the space, right? What's our goal? If we walk in, if we get a CO alarm, what's our primary goal? Our first goal
Make sure everyone's safe.
is one. What's the next one?
See what's causing it?
Okay? And what do we, how do we do that safely?
Combustion analyzer.
Well,
Combustion analyzer.
okay? What if we don't have anything burning in the space?
Uh-oh. Could be a factory nearby,
Could be.
pulling out all kind of crap.
Gas leak. Would it pick up a gas leak?
Probably
No.
not.
No.
I know these pick up your V tank. Ask me how.
Do they? Yeah. When you have the nozzle open, no flame?
Mhm.
Combustible gas detector too. So, I had a house, this goes back 25 plus years ago. For a series of weeks, we would get these seal calls. And get there, you can't find anything at the furnace or the water heater, which is where the seal was high. Turns out he was charging his trolling batteries, and the gas is coming off the trolling batteries, which set the CO detector on. And it took us several calls to get out there to see that. So, what kind of liability do we have to walk into a call like this? As a technician?
We're the last ones there.
Or the last one's there, yeah. How do we prove, you said it a minute ago, how do we prove it's safe to re-enter the space?
Analyzer.
Yeah. You gotta find the source though, right? Documentation, once it has been verified that the CO source was from inside the building, a thorough test of all combustion systems and building interactive components should be performed. Notice it said inside the building. You said factory. Cars, carports, garages, right?
Yeah, I used to live near the PPG factory, holy shit, the neighborhood would smell like that crap all the time.
So, something else that most people don't talk about with CO in the high concentrations. It becomes explosive. Okay. Between 12% and 12.5% in the air and 74% in the air, it's explosive, it'll burn. It's blown garages up. Like
Wow.
if you put a car in a garage and have the garage door down and forget about it, while you're stuck running it.
Huh.
I didn't know that until just a couple of years ago,
Huh. Did not
so.
You didn't get a new garage door, did you?
It wasn't in my house. There's videos of it actually happening on people's security cameras on YouTube. So we used to carry that monoxide right here, in addition to our carbon.
I have that one.
Combustion analyzer. How often do you calibrate it?
I don't.
Yeah.
Probably no good, huh?
Yeah, once a year. Same with the combustion
You're
analyzer.
gonna send it in for that, right?
Yeah, SureTech down in, Magyar. Are they back up to speed, Mike?
I believe so.
SureTech can calibrate them.
True check.
Yeah. Okay. This is that breathing thing we talked about. We're not doctors, we're not EMTs. We're not here to check the people's hemoglobins.
Yeah.
Right? We wanna get them out of the space and to safety. Now we're looking at combustible gas detector here, right? We got a couple of those still. Okay. We were talking before about stack effect, the wind, exhaust fans, combustion appliance exhaust, duct leakage, unbalanced duct systems. If we have natural atmospheric burners and we got a backdraft down a flue pipe, where's that flue gas gonna go?
In the
It's coming
space.
across the burner out into space, right? Not just on the furnace, but on a water heater too.
One thing I've run across, in mechanical rooms with duct leakage on natural draft water heaters, on your hot and cold coming out, they have that like red and blue ring around it. You can see burning sometimes if the space, if they're
Yeah.
pulling too much return from that, like the filter
Yeah.
is real open or whatever, when they go slide in and out, it'll actually pull that down. It'll start to actually melt
Yeah, I've seen that.
those little red and blue, not gaskets, but,
Trim rings,
yep,
yeah.
it's a telltale sign.
You wanna read that for us, Kevin?
Pressure measurements of homes and HVAC systems that can assure the following. Combustion appliances vent properly. All HVAC systems are installed according to manufacturer's specifications. Buildings and their HVAC systems produce comfort. Buildings and HVAC systems are energy efficient. Buildings and HVAC systems are durable. Buildings and HVAC systems do not negatively affect indoor air quality and vent properly.
Okay. Wind direction can change this in a heartbeat, right? Wind strength. We have a school building that we do that's like 30 feet away from a church. There's a walkway between the two that you could probably put two cars down the middle of. And first time I was there, I had my pocket detector on and I went and sat down and, 24 parts per million or whatever it was. Why do I have it in the space? I got this huge combustion air duct. Well, the chimney comes off the boiler, goes through a barometric, goes out the wall and sprayed up like 3 stories. That particular day, if this was the aisle or the alley, the boiler's here, combustion air grates here, and the chimney is up there. The wind was howling through here to the point where it felt like the hair is coming off your head, right? And I actually had CO coming out of the combustion air duct when I was measuring it outside in that alley. Next day I go back, there's no wind, perfect. So. This one's on you, Mike.
What is pressure? Textbook stuff. Force pressing against a surface, stated in weight per unit area. The force acts at right angles uniformly in all directions. Pounds per square inch, inches of water column, Pascal, newtons per meter squared.
We were talking before about the effect of atmospheric pressure between here and a mile high or 10,000 feet high. It's a considerable difference, right? It changes the boiling point on refrigerant, it changes the boiling point on water, right? Can you read that, Gary?
I can try. Common pressures will come. I better not. It's
For comparison.
I'm missing letters, I can't see the other, macular degeneration, so it's all a big blur.
Wanna go, Phil?
Yeah, atmospheric pressure 14.7 PSI. Normal, sea level, standard temp. car tire 35 PSI or 2,491,290 Pascal.
Wow.
Natural gas inlet pressure 7 inches of water column or a quarter PSI. Manifold pressure is 3.5 inches of water column or PMI. HVAC fan external static pressure 0.5 inches of water column or 125 Pascal. LPG inlet pressure to appliance regulator 11 inches of water column. PMI is per manufacturer instruction.
Good. What's missing from this PSI right here?
Absolute pressure?
PSIA, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd see it on our gauges.
Yeah.
Right? Vince? Please?
You got it. HVAC fans and air movement. HVAC fans move air the same way. Air is drawn toward the return side of the fan because it's at a lower pressure. Air flows outward under positive pressure from the fan on the supply side to lower pressures found in the house.
Okay. It's like a hurricane. Right? It's being drawn towards that eye, because it's a much lower pressure.
IT apostrophe, yes. Is.
So that high pressure goes to low pressure?
Always.
Yep.
Brandon's law. Skip?
Types of manometers. The basis of pressure diagnostic testing is to compare the pressure of one zone to that in another. All differential manometers read the pressure difference between two zones, usually connected to different zones via flexible hoses.
Okay. Commonly, we use manometers for gas, for duct static or gas pressure, right?
Yeah.
Pressure imbalances due to building stack effect, like turning the range fan on backwards. Depressurizes house because air is leaving through holes in the top of the building into the attic. The house is a chimney. The tighter the house, the greater the pressures.
Right. So, albeit exaggerated, this is a negative, right? You can see the walls being sucked in. Yeah? So,
Oh, it's coming out.
where does the air come from that's being drawn out of that house?
Doors and windows.
Path of least resistance.
Cracks every place, right? Holes that you didn't know existed.
Mouth holes.
Wind effects, strong winds can cause vent systems to fail, increase stack effect. Pressuring or depressurizing mechanical rooms, vents cool quicker, direct downdrafts, windward side, positive pressure, air forcing inside, leeward side, negative pressure, air leaving building.
The leeward is on the right in this case, right? Windward side is the side that the wind is hitting. Everybody can visualize this? Yeah? Okay. So the blue registers are the supply registers on this. What happens, most of you have seen homes with one central grill in the floor for return, right?
Mhm.
And basically just drop down to the deck on the, in the basement. What happened when we closed the doors? You put carpet and don't undercut the doors, you just got a balloon you blew up with the supply air, right? So if each of these rooms is closed and we're pumping a bunch of air through that, the air's gonna pressurize in the spaces that are closed off, and then it's gonna dump into the other two on our left here that are open, this one and this one. If all these are closed here, right, what's gonna happen to that furnace?
High temperature rise.
You would think. I think you're up, Phil.
All right, reasons why more quality assurance pressure testing is required. More homes with more problems. Tighter homes, tightness increases pressure differences within the house. Most new homes are tight or under ventilated. More exhaust fans, commercial quality kitchen fans, ventilation systems, higher capacity bath and laundry fans.
Each of those fans draws air out of the house, right?
Right.
Social trends that will increase quality assurance and pressure testing, greater awareness of carbon monoxide risks, transitions from prescriptive to performance-based building codes, Minnesota worst-case depressurization codes, Canadian codes, Ontario gas utilization code.
Okay. What else happens if our house is really tight?
Smells in there.
Sorry?
Farts can't go nowhere.
Well, you're not wrong.
Moisture.
What else?
Neither
High
can
humidity.
diseases.
Sorry?
Diseases stay in. Diseases last longer.
Yeah. You get condensate, right? What happens when you have condensate?
Mold, mildew.
Mold.
You get biological growth. That's never a good thing. So, how much CO is too much? How tight is your jar? Years ago,
Not that.
Flex duct.
years ago,
It's going down.
we were doing these charity things in the fall, and the TV crews were following us around. And I walked into a house, and a lady told me, this down in the rough neighborhood, a lady told me her husband just put the water heater in for her. And this was on it, okay? And
Wow.
I told the guys I'm doing this for, under protest, that I'm not touching this thing. Back then, we didn't have cameras, you know?
Huh.
So carbon monoxide air-free, what does carbon monoxide air-free mean? Somebody asked me a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago, where I take my combustion test on a boiler like this. You see where that is below the hood?
That's air free right there.
What's that?
That's air free right there.
Yeah.
Without, no draft,
No excess air.
excess air.
Right. So, this is CO air-free charge, and this confuses people. Left vertical column is the oxygen measured in the flue gases. At 8% O2, which is right here, right? And 200 parts per million up here, what do we got? We got 334 or 334 parts per million CO air-free, okay? The combustion analyzers that we own does all that calculating for you and displays it. Sorry?
That's a good thing.
Yeah. So that was the end of that.
I went to a weekend for, the Canadian guy, goes to these cases where the whole family dies from carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
And he, was visiting his parents, and they said, we, take a cab from the airport, we're not gonna come out and pick you up, we don't feel good. And he's describing all the symptoms of carbon monoxide. Get the hell out of the house and
Yeah, no kidding. So, give these things a read when you get a second. I wanted to run past the second part of this with you though. Lesser known facts of CO, that you can check with when you wanna read it later. Main differences between CO and CO2. Somebody said one carbon, one oxygen, and we have one carbon, two oxygens for CO2, right? So, I've been in spaces where we've used CO2 to pressure test or a bottle's leaked, and I start seeing stars when it's a high concentration. And I know to get out of the space at that point.
Yeah, we used to blow coils out with that shit.
Yeah. So,
Get a buzz.
the second half of this was an attempt at humor. CO versus CO2, a toxic ex-boyfriend versus a chill plant daddy. Okay? Carbon monoxide is a psychotic ex who won't let you breathe. Shows up uninvited, leaky furnace, running car and garage, etc. Smells like absolutely nothing because villains never announce themselves. Slides into your bloodstream and clings to your hemoglobin like you're mine now, oxygen who. Binds 250 times stronger, the ultimate stage 5 clinger. Gives you a headache, then nausea, and then a dirt nap. Romantic, ain't it? Favorite pickup line, trust me babe, you don't need air. Verdict, will literally ghost you by making you a ghost. CO2, a harmless hippie roommate who pays rent in photosynthesis. Also colorless and odorless, but at least he's honest to God, helps plants through rages with sunlight. You exhale 40,000 parts per million of this dude every breath. 40,000 parts of CO2. And you're still here tweeting about it. Only gets annoying if you lock yourself in a submarine with 19 other sailors and a lot of beans. Moonlight is a soda bubbles, dry ice fog at concerts, and fire extinguisher hero. Basically, the friend who says, dude, just breathe me out. I've got photosynthesis at 3. Verdict, chill bro who occasionally makes the oceans too acidic, but at least he's not trying to murder you in your sleep. Lesson learned, CO is a date who love bombs your red blood cells and then kills you. CO2 is the date who brings you LaCroix and asks if your plants are single. Install a CO detector, hug a tree, stay alive.
Did you come up with all those, or did you find them somewhere?
No, I AI'd it. Anybody have anything? Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you
Thank you,
coming
Tom.
in.
Thank you.
Okay.